Now, Terry, welcome in. I hope you're doing wonderful today. How was your day?
Doing great, Brandon. How are you?
Doing good. Weather's pretty crappy over here in New Jersey, but I'm
I'm
trying to
in
manage.
Maryland.
How's the
I'm
weather
in
over
Maryland.
there at?
Same as yours, shitty and cold.
Yeah, cold, sleeting, raining.
Yep. Yep.
I hate it, man.
Me
Um,
too.
but welcome on in. You are very, very decorated as a vocalist. I've heard a lot of your music from Pantera or Tracy. I believe you were in the Crayfish. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And of course, now Axe Dragger.
Yeah.
With Axe Dragger, though, I want to know about the origin story on how that band came to be.
Um, about a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago last summer, I got an email from Bob Balch. I
Mhm.
looked him up. I had never met him before. And said he and his drummer friend were looking at doing a song. And would I be interested? And I said, yeah, sure. Uh, whatever day of the week it was, Tuesday or whatever. But I didn't think there was anything to it. I
Yeah.
just thought it was just something for fun to do. And so the music had a working title that said Axe Dragger, and which cracked me up. And it made me think of like The Witcher with Henry Cavill,
Mhm.
or things like that kind of stuff. Just the name. And one of my best friends, Mike Harrington, who is my partner in my band called Raised by Gods. He is the drummer and songwriter. And I told him about it, and he said, "Why don't we just do it?"
Yeah.
So I took the audio. It was like a real simple drums, electronic, and guitar and a bass, in the structure of a song. And Bob sent it, and so I had it on my phone, and I set my phone right here, and I set the video on myself, and I just first impression just sang sounds into my phone, da da da, yeah yeah yeah, wah, wah, whatever, and I sent that to my friend Mike. My friend Mike is like a poet, and but he writes really weird, dark stuff.
Yeah.
So so he took my sounds and put words to them. And I must have sang blah, blah, blah. And I get back, Axe Dragger. And so it was fun. And we did it that same night.
Yeah.
And I didn't really stress. I didn't really worry about anything. And I didn't think it was a thing. So I
Yeah.
just sat here at the house and I sent the tracks back like it was maybe that night or the next morning. And they were like, and it was the song Axe Dragger. And
Awesome.
and I had fun and I liked it. And and then one turned into two, into three, into five, into more. At first it was, do you want to do a song? And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then it was like, do you want to do a couple? And I was like, yeah, okay. And like I said, do you want to do an EP, 5 songs? Yeah, all right. And next thing you know, do you want to do a record? I was like, yeah, I guess I do. And every song was like that. Bob would send me music, and I would just hear the sounds of the words, but I didn't know what the words were.
Yeah.
And and Bob had working titles for 7 of the 10 songs. Mike and I came up with titles of the other 3 songs. Um, so that's how we did it. And
Awesome.
it's really weird. I've never been not yet. I've never been in a room with any of these guys yet.
Oh, really? I never knew that.
So, so Bob's like West Coast.
Mhm.
Pete, the drummers, I think in Detroit. Friedrich's, I think in Sweden.
Wow.
And we just, when I was younger, or let's just say, in the 70s and the 80s, you took the roll of tape with you and you got on a plane and you flew to the next place.
Yeah.
Here, we just hit a button on our phone and it emails to the next guy, and we all have little studios. I think it just came from when COVID shut the whole world down. We had to
Mhm.
kind of figure out how to be creative on our own.
Yeah.
And it's I love what we did, but I can just imagine if we could get in the room together, the kind of, because I always think like one plus one equals three. You know, like it's something's going to happen that you don't know. And that's the best part of being in a band as
Yeah,
opposed to being a solo artist, you know?
yeah, for sure. Axe Dragger, I actually found, I think 2 weeks ago, I was on Facebook and I saw Axe Dragger. I'm like, oh, okay. So I click on the band. First thing I see is vocalist Terry Glaze. I'm like, no way. And I saw the rest of the people in the band. I'm like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. I went,
Yeah.
grabbed all the music, listened to it, and I'm very, very impressed with what I've heard. I
Man,
really
thanks
do
so
enjoy it.
much. I
Hey,
mean,
man, anytime.
we were just doing it for ourselves. And so you can tell that we're really having a good time.
Yeah,
There was no reason to think that anything was going to come from this. And then it's, do you want to put this out? Sure. You want to do vinyl? Sure. CD. So this coming Friday, the 6th, March 6th, the record comes out everywhere.
awesome,
Vinyl, vinyl, CDs. It'll be on every place where you get your music, streaming, whatever. It's everywhere. So I'm
awesome.
real excited about it.
No, I'm just as excited, if not even more.
That's a
I
lot then. All right, cool.
I'm always looking for new music. That's a big thing for
Me
me.
too.
And so when I hear new songs, that's one thing I always ask a band, right? It's just like a very stereotypical question. Do you have any new music coming out? When they tell me yes, the first thing I do right after the interview, I write it down and I make
Yeah.
sure to hear it when it comes out.
I still probably buy 2 records a week, buy
Yeah,
CDs. I just want artists to be able to keep making music. So I try to
absolutely.
support and I like a little bit of everything. I wouldn't say I only like one genre. I usually can find something in almost all genres. I can find something that I really like.
Yeah, same here. I'm very big into pretty much all music, but definitely when it
Yeah,
comes into rock and metal, I can go
for sure.
from like 50s music, like Bill Haley in his comments, going
Oh
all
yeah.
the way up to like the crazy extreme stuff.
Yeah.
That's
My mine goes Elvis and the Beatles and the Beach Boys were my mom's records.
yeah,
And then when I was in middle school, the band that got me on my path, I loved Van Halen, but I'm not going to be in Van Halen. And I loved Kiss, but I'm not going to be in Kiss. But
yeah,
I saw Cheap Trick on
yeah,
front row when I was in middle school, and I went, I could maybe do that. And it was a little Beatley, and it was a little Elvisy, and it was and I thought I could maybe do that, and ever since then, got a guitar and wanted to sing, and it's been pretty fun.
yeah. And speaking of some origins, right? You come from a very awesome, great era of Pantera, the glam
Yes,
rock era, some people call it.
yeah,
Um, I love it personally. I'm a big fan of course, the glam era, and then more of the, I don't know if it would be like thrash metal, right?
right,
Like
right.
going forward after your departure. But tell me about your experience working with Pantera during that era.
Well, actually, me and Vinnie Paul were in the same class in high school. We got
Hmm.
together when we were in 11th grade. And I had a friend named Tommy Bradford who played bass. And we had a singer named Donnie Hart. The three of us had a little project, but we wanted Vince to play with us. And so when we finally started a band, the deal was we had to take Vince's little brother. And Daryl was in middle school. And we didn't want that little kid. And thank goodness that we did, because that was the best thing that ever happened to me was getting in a band with Daryl and Vince. And we practiced every day, and we started playing clubs and playing covers and being inspired. And back then, I think like the first Def Leppard record came out. That was a big inspiration. And then maybe by the second record, we're listening to Motley Crue. And by the third record, you can tell we've met Metallica, and that influence is coming in. So for
Yeah,
me, and we were just kids learning how to do it. And that's how you do it. You try and get inspired by your heroes, and uh, it's the luckiest thing that ever happened to me to be in a band with those guys.
absolutely. And I mean, you talk about heroes at this point. I mean, you are considered one of the heroes, in my opinion, when it comes to
Oh, thanks, man.
revolutionizing metal. No problem. Because, I mean, without Pantera, I understand it went into like more of a different type of genre, but without
Sure.
you guys, and especially you starting Pantera, I don't know how many bands would really be out here putting out really great music. So I 100% appreciate your work with
Thanks so
Pantera and
much.
everything
You
else,
know,
of course.
with this new Axe Dragger, to me, it reminds me of what I wanted to do in 1981. You
Yeah,
know, the record, the Axe Dragger record reminds me of like the first Dio album with Vivian Campbell and Judas Priest and Riot and Rob Halford. And I almost feel like I'm trying to do what I was trying to do back then. I just got a lifetime of experiences and to do it. But I mean, it feels so old school, going, coming all the way back around. And now we're doing stuff that it doesn't sound to me out of place from 1981. And
absolutely.
Bob's guitar playing, it's got a little bit of Richie Blackmore and a little bit of Vivian Campbell and everybody else. But man, that guy just destroys on this record. So the whole band, it's really it's what a pleasant surprise when you expect nothing from it, and then when it gets done, you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm really proud of what we did.
Yeah. And I think a big part of Axe Striker that I like is how so many of you guys are all from different bands in the past, and
Yeah,
all those sounds kind of collaborate to make one very good, unique sounding song. And I
yeah,
really,
cool.
I'm a big fan of like unique music as well. I've heard there's some bands out there that one song sounds like the next, the next, the next, but Axe Striker, I'm not seeing that pattern. Everything sounds different, but also iconic in its own way.
You never know what you're going to get when you put a group of musicians together, and you never can tell if it's really going to be good. There's
Yeah.
been so many times that quote, heavy, super groups that doesn't work. We had no idea. We just got lucky, and if you change one person in this band, it's going to sound different.
Yeah.
So I think we got lucky with our recipe.
Absolutely. I think you guys have perfect members in the band and perfect sound. And that kind of ties into another question. So, we, of course, have new Axe Tracker tunes on the way. Are you able to reveal any of the tunes coming out in this upcoming record?
Yeah, hang on.
That is awesome.
It is awesome. Um, it is. Check this out. The inside is all the lyrics, just like when we were younger, or maybe not you, but when I was younger, all the lyrics. So you could lay down on the floor, put the record on. They're all, it's so cool. That's the
Absolutely.
back. Um, I'll give you the, so you haven't heard the album yet.
I have not. I've heard the first three songs I believe that
Yeah.
released.
All right. Side one, Axe Dragger. The second song is called Give You the Rope. Then Fight Another Day. You heard that one.
Yes.
Iron Rider and Eat Me from the Inside. Side two, Shock 'em Dead. That's the third single we just put out. A song called El Toro. The Damned Will Cry. Fire in the Madhouse. And the last song on the record is called Death is Calling My Name. And
Awesome.
they're all kind of different, but they all got the kind of Axe Dragger recipe flavor on them. Here's the, let's see here. It's real cool, man. I just got this today. Oh, look at that.
Dude, that is awesome.
It's awesome. I didn't even know what was in there. Look at that.
Wow.
Okay, that's just badass. I'll have to go look.
Absolutely.
I got some other ones in there. I'll have to go look and see if there's different vinyls. Oh, wow. Now you got me excited.
Hey, I'm transferring the excitement over to you just a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
more.
Wow, that's so cool.
I mean, awesome, man. I am I'm really, really excited for that. And I mean, dude,
Yeah,
that looked awesome. That especially
it is.
the vinyl, right? The one with all
Yes.
the splatter art on it. Oh, that was awesome. I know, I think you could tell I'm a little bit younger. I am
Yeah, that's good
22,
though. So
but
it's just like people ask me, I'll just go make a turn here for a moment. People
mhm,
ask me about what do I think about Pantera touring.
yeah,
And what I say is, man, it's for people like you that
yeah,
didn't get to see it the first time, and you get to experience some of that music and celebrate that music. So it just keeps going. So I think it's amazing any of this metal music. We got to keep it going. When you said the vinyl, they sent me a test pressing a while back. I had to go out and buy a turntable because I didn't have a turntable. So I went and bought one so I could just listen to the vinyl. It was pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up in that era where there was kind of like it was mixing between streaming platforms and
Yeah.
CDs and of course radio. I mean, that's I got into radio by listening to all different types of actual internet radio based stations which are playing
Right.
everything out there in the world. And I decided a couple years ago to start up a radio station. I am the youngest person on my radio station, but it's fun. It's honestly, it's also been a lot of learning the music, a lot of learning just even how certain things worked. Like vinyls, I had before radio, I had no idea really what a vinyl was at all.
For
My
sure.
my
You know,
parents have them too, and that's the funny part.
one of the best part of that has got to be discovering new music all the time
Yeah,
and that feeling of inspiration and you know, I that's the best.
yeah. And new music's always great for me, and definitely I think that's one of the things I like is the new music, and I also like getting the bands heard. Like there's
Oh, cool.
so many small bands out there in the world that I just love playing to everybody, and I just got like a message over the weekend from an artist, an artist saying that 50 different people from the United States are tuned in because I started playing their stuff, and just things like that just keep me going on a
Yeah,
week to
that's
week
cool.
basis.
All right.
Absolutely. But going back to Pantera right here, you worked with my favorite guitarist of all time, Dimebag Darrell. How was
Yeah.
your experience working with him overall?
So Daryl, when we first got together, like I said, he was just that little kid
Yeah,
and he already had tone. And I remember, I've told the story before, but he went off into his room for about 6 months and just woodshedded. And when he came out, it was almost like a butterfly coming out. You know, it was
yeah,
he was fully formed. And when we first got together, I played a lot of guitar with him. We played a lot of harmony solos, like like Def Leppard and Iron Maiden and stuff. But by the second record, Daryl could play Eruption when nobody could play Eruption, and Vince was just as good on drums as Daryl was on his guitar. Rex, we practiced all the time, and so that band was so good, and we could play anything. A lot of what we would do, I remember is we would we would know there was a new song coming out today. Maybe an example, there's a new song by Ozzy coming out today, and they're going
yeah,
to play it at 3 o'clock. Well, we would have the radio on and we'd have our cassette tape and we would record it. And then we'd go out and learn it. And then we'd play it at the gig tonight.
yeah.
We were constantly playing new. And Daryl was Daryl's best guitar player I ever played with.
Yeah,
So, you know, it's I was in the right place at the right time. Great,
absolutely.
great experience.
I mean, in my personal, as I'm just by opinion, but I feel genuinely like he's just the best guitar player in rock and metal history. I've always thought that. And I mean, so everybody has their own opinions, of
That's
course,
right.
but
That's what's beautiful about it. We can.
yeah. But Dimebag is just absolutely amazing throughout his early work, his later work as well. And
Have you heard any of the Pantera, the earlier stuff, the stuff that I'm on?
yes, Metal Magic album. I know,
That's
believe
the
that.
first one. The next one, Projects in the Jungle. If you get a chance, check it out. The guitar playing is incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, so he was from the very beginning. He could just destroy people. Just great experience.
absolutely. And speaking of Metal and Magic, I actually listened to it a while back because Pantera was one of the gateway bands for me to get into rock and metal overall.
Sure.
And the thing is, I like to really deep dive into every band's discography. And when I found that era of Pantera, I listened to it a lot. I have heard I believe there's three albums, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
have heard the other two, but Metal and Magic always sticks out to me as like my favorite album come from Pantera in that time. Would you say the
That's
same for
crazy.
yourself?
No. No. Because you want to feel like you learn something, you get better as you go. So for
Yeah,
me, we kind of grew. That first record, we have, we're the youngest we've ever going to be, and we're trying to do our best. But I'm glad you like it. That's cool.
yeah,
So, like I said, different influences, and we're trying to grow. But pretty much we were just out of high school when we did Metal Magic, I think. That was probably 83, maybe around in there.
Yeah. I guess I don't know, there's just something about the sound of that album that
That's
really
cool.
resonates with me very
Yeah.
well. But I gotta re-listen to the other two albums, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I
Maybe my
said,
opinion will change a little bit too.
the second record is probably my favorite of the three projects. But I Am the Night, we had, like I said, we had met Metallica. We're listening to a lot more like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, UFO, and those bands were really influencing us. So that style couldn't help but creep in too. So you just kind of see the kind of growth of the intensity, probably.
Yeah. And I'm definitely gonna end up having to go back and re-listen to the other two. And it's what are the other two albums again by name? I did kind of draw a blank, I'm not gonna
I'll, I'll,
lie.
I'll email them back to you. But the first
Awesome.
record is called Metal Magic. The
Mm.
second record's called Projects in the Jungle, and the third record's called I Am the Night. And I bought bootlegs off of eBay. We didn't make CDs back then, so that's how I got copies of my own music. But you can find it out there. It's on YouTube. You can search around.
Awesome. I forgot
Yeah,
how
it's
I
cool.
I have the entire album of Metal and Magic somewhere, and I had it
Yeah,
digitized, so that's how
yeah,
I have it sitting on my computer for my radio shows. But the
really
other
cool.
two, I do not have. It probably was a bootleg, to be honest, Metal and Magic.
Yes, no, it has to be. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But I think a good question to finish off here today is you are a very talented vocalist, and I was wondering if you had any advice for the people that were thinking about starting a band or singing or any of that.
Sometimes I'll have a parent come up to me and ask that same question. But what I would just say is just do it. Don't wait. Just find other people and just do it. And if you something gets in your way, go around it. And the
Yeah,
only way you're going to learn from this stuff is just doing it and find something that you like. If you don't like it, don't do it. Change and find. There's so many different styles of singing and guitar playing and bass and drums and percussion and whatever keys, you know. And if the first thing doesn't work for you, if you're passionate, try something else. And that's what we constantly try and do. And you might get lucky and bump into your own Daryl Abbott, you know,
yeah,
that would be the dream. So that's what I would say.
yeah, definitely. I do think Just Do It's a very good piece of
Yeah.
advice. For me, I can't sing. I've
Well,
tried.
I'll tell you, for musicians like me and the rest of us, we're so lucky to have music fans like you guys, like you and your like that are passionate about music.
Yeah.
So thank goodness. But we can all, get up and scream the words to some songs when we're all together. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. See, as for me, I try not to record myself singing too much, otherwise the windows start to shatter a little bit. But if
Well,
I'm,
from,
am,
from the rest of us, we say thank you.
I appreciate that. And hey, if there's anything else you'd like to add about yourself, Axe Dragger, or anything else, the floor is absolutely yours, my friend.
I would just say, like I said, I just got this today. New Axe Dragger is coming out this Friday, March the 6th. It's going to be, you can go to axedragger.com
Yeah,
and you can find it everywhere you find music, streaming, CDs, vinyl. If enough people ask for cassettes, maybe we'll print those up. Before you were born, there was something called 8-track. I don't think we need to do that, but you can look that one up too.
I do know what that is, luckily. 8-track.
Yeah, but Axe Dragger, really excited, really proud of this record. And I hope everybody gets a chance to listen to it. I think you're going to like it. And that's it. Thanks so much for having me on.
Hey, no problem. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate your time.
Cool, man.
All
See
right,
y'all.
take care.